Good morning and happy Sunday. We begin this morning, as we always do, by centering into the awareness of the presence of God that lives in each one of us. It's not only in me, but it's also in you. And so I join with you this morning, knowing that there's only one presence, God. So please join me here in this place.
Good morning. Welcome to our community of love and light as we joyously express God's greater vision in our lives. My name is Michelle Coles, and I am happy to be serving Reverend Joanne and our community as your service coordinator today. Whether you are watching in the next city over or from across the globe, know that we feel your presence and are holding you in prayer. At Unity Spiritual Center, we are about transforming lives. Unity is more than a Sunday morning experience. We offer many opportunities throughout the week to expand your awareness of God and bring us closer to each other. Susan Armstrong, who's our prayer chaplain today, is facilitating her final weekly Circle of Grace gathering this Tuesday, February 9th. This is a perfect opportunity to join in community with prayer, guidance, extended silence, and a sharing of grace. Information about the gathering is available on our website. Our USC Family Food Share cart is filled with a variety of healthy and nutritious food. If you or someone you know could use a helping hand, please stop by today until 1:30. Tomorrow from 9:30 to 12:30, or from Thursday from 2 to 5. This will be an ongoing opportunity to give or receive food. Together, we are caring and sharing as we joyously give and receive. So we all know that we've had some audio-visual issues over the last couple of weeks, and I want to thank everybody for their patience, for their compassion, and while we diligently work through all the issues that we're having. Remember that we are volunteers and we are doing our very, very best to make this the most important thing that we have going on Sundays. So for detailed information about all ongoing classes and activities, please see our website. Now let's join Bonnie and Jerry for our opening songs.
Well, today is the last day of our series, and I hope you've enjoyed this song as much as I have. Look around. And most of the time so far, we've talked about it from look around and find the good and the God and the beauty that is everywhere, because God is everywhere. But today I'm challenging you as you sing this, look around and be that love of God for other people. Look around for where you might help, where you might bless and give. Join me one last time. Look around. Sing it to other people. When you're tired and feel you can't get through, uncertainty comes over, you just look around. When your problems seem too much to bear, unsure if there's someone who cares, just look around. Whether neighbor, stranger, family, or friends, On each other in tough times you can depend. Look around, kindness, love is ours to share. We can see it everywhere. Though it might seem like forever, look around, 'cause even in our darkest night, things are gonna be alright. We'll get through this together, just look around. You may make someone's day when you let them know. Sometimes it can be hard to see. Life is full of possibilities, so look around. Remember, every day is such a gift. Embrace it, and the life you live, just look around. And you be those outstretched arms and many helping hands. Don't give up on all your dreams and all your plans. Look around, kindness, love is ours to share. We can see it everywhere. Though it might seem like forever, look around, for even in our darkest night, things are gonna be alright. We'll get through this together, just look around. Please tell someone, don't lose faith, keep hope alive, 'cause together we'll get to the other side. When you feel weak, I'll be strong, and I'll remind you that you're never alone. Look around, kindness, love is ours to share. We can see it everywhere. Though it might seem like forever, look around, 'cause even in our darkest night, things are gonna be alright. We'll get through this together, just look around. We will get through this together. Just look around.
The daily word for today is inner peace. And the affirmation is, I express the peace of God. Peace, be still. With these words, Jesus claimed his authority and calmed the stormy waters. Following Jesus' example, I too claim authority. In a stressful moment, I center my awareness in the divine presence that lives in me and expresses through me. This divine presence is perfect life, love, and wisdom. It is peace that nothing and no one can disturb. No matter what may be happening around me, at the center of my being, there is always peace. It is an aspect of my divine inheritance, as near as my next thought. I release all fear and tension and embrace the peace of God. As I do, divine peace radiates from the center of my being. It clarifies my thoughts, calms my emotions, and relaxes my body. In every situation, I am a presence of peace. The scripture for today is from Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3. Those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust you. The affirmation once again is, I express the peace of God.
For the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. God of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. Please join me. For the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. God of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. God of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
Good morning, Unity Spiritual Center, Westlake family. It is time to take us into this time of meditation, of centering, of being in the stillness. And so I invite you to take a deep breath with me. And as you release it, release with it any fears, concerns, worries, doubts, anxious thoughts you might be carrying with you. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. And let us return to that beautiful idea shared with us through the daily word today. Peace, be still, and know that I am God. Peace, be still, and know that I am. Peace, be still, and know that. Peace, be still, and know. Peace, be still. Peace, be. Peace. And as we take a moment to rest in the stillness, in the silence, I invite you to become aware of the thoughts that arise, and I invite you to meet those moments internally with the word peace. 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 Peace, be. Peace, be still. Peace, be still and know. Peace, be still and know that. Peace, be still and know that I am. Peace, be still and know that I am God. And know in the deep stillness of this moment that peace that is God is carried with you, and you have access to it. And in any moment you can stop, pause, breathe, and speak peace. And centered in that deep peace that passes all understanding, we move from this time of meditation into a time of community prayer and affirmation.
Thank you, Reverend Joanne, for that peaceful segue into our time of prayer. Dears, I ask that if you're comfortable to keep your eyes closed, lift your heart, open that heart space, and receive the breath and release the breath. Receive, release, fill, and empty. As we touch the stillness together, I invite you to empty yourself. A cup that is full cannot receive, but in emptying ourselves for beauty, we can become instruments of the good. Allow the words of our February community prayer to be yours. I am a spiritual being, ever unfolding in the light, love, and wisdom of God. God guides me to take the high road that leads to true understanding and fulfillment. I cultivate forgiveness and release any blame or resentment. I forgive myself for any perceived shortcomings. Peace, peace, and harmony are mine as I let go and let God fill my heart with love and compassion. Fill our hearts with love and compassion. Beloveds, for a moment I invite you to fall in love with the beauty of all beings, to stand outside yourself, to feel that others are really real. Become alert to your compassion, lament, justice. When we are aware and attuned to those outside of ourselves and their needs, we can send them prayers. We can generate grace, direct love, and become emissaries of light. As we see no strangers, dear ones, the natural outflow of prayer is, can, does, and it becomes our compassionate action. Lord, we ask you to use us, to guide us in making wise decisions. We are listening, and we trust in your divine goodness for ourselves and for those whom we hold dear, and we speak their names aloud as we pray with them, seeing their truth. Friends of Unity Spiritual Center, please also join me in a thanksgiving prayer for our torchbearer, Reverend Joanne, and her mighty trustees, Greg and Eileen, Todd, John, Brian, Sandy, Shannon, and Kate, who have led us through a most challenging year to which they have triumphed. When doors closed, they kept knocking and finding ways for us to thrive, to prosper and connect. Never did they waver. We thank you, Board, for your abiding love and shining your light. Our community is so fortunate to have these dedicated, devoted servants of the divine give so much beauty to the people of this church. We are thankful for those who have served in the past as minister or trustee, those currently serving, and those who are stepping forward as candidates, Kristen, Kathy, Eileen, and Marilyn. Our hearts overflow in gratitude for your commitment, your generosity, and your intelligence. We love you. We trust you, we support you, we stand in faith with you, we bless you, and we behold the Christ in each of you. And for you, our members and congregants, we too have played an essential role in our even being in the sanctuary this morning. We are indeed a dynamic community, empowering all to embrace and express the divine as we share our unique gifts in an evolving world. We are one. And as we receive and agree and say amen, we say thank you. Thank you, Creator, for the beauty and the grace of this holy time, sharing our prayers, sharing our love. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. And so it is, and it is so. Amen and amen.
Hello, Westlake. It's me again. I'm back. Always glad to be back to sing for you some songs. And I love the theme this week and this month. It's something I aspire to always, is to dig a little deeper and take an extra step towards being kind and compassionate. I do not succeed all the time. It's a tricky thing. But I have written a bunch of songs on the subject, so I've chosen a few of those today for you, and I hope you enjoyed this first one from my home album, a song called As Best I Can. As best I can, my heart is an open heart. Best I can, I let myself be human. Try to lighten up life's loads, whether a tear or laughter flows, as best I can. Oh yeah, as best I can. welcome. If they're hungry, then they eat. If they're lonely, they've got me as best I can. Oh, yes, best I can. Oh, what good can one man do? I'm just trying to find out. But I can only give what I've decided I'm about. As best I can. My world is a peaceful world where all nations stand shoulder to shoulder. We are equals before God. We are neighbors, one and all. As best I can. Oh yeah, yeah, as best I can. Where we are children of one God. We are neighbors after all. As best I can. As best I can. Whoa. I will do the best I can. Best I can. Thanks.
Thank you, Daniel. What a joy to have you with us again today. And yes, we are all trying our best, right, to show up and to be the light, to see the beauty in the world. And that is what our series that we are finishing up today, Beguiled by Beauty, spoke to us about, this idea of beauty in our world. And so today is Multi-Generational Sunday. 4 Sundays of the week, the second, third, fourth, and sometimes fifth Sunday, the children are in Zoom still, and they are having their weekly lessons. So if you've got children out there, know that that is still available to you. But this first Sunday of the month has traditionally been Multi-Generational Sunday. And so I have an object lesson today that will hopefully draw in those families and those kids that I trust are watching out there. So what I have here is a container of water. And the water is just representing the stuff of life. Many years ago, when I was interviewing for one of my first jobs, the person who interviewed me said, "Oh, you're a good egg." So I have an egg here that's representing each of us. We are all good eggs, right? We're all good eggs, trying to be that good egg. But sometimes when we get caught up in the stuff of life kind of takes over. If you can see, the egg just kind of sunk to the bottom. And what I'm really aware of is that this past year we have been filled with the stuff of life that has worked to sink us, right? To bring us to a place of overwhelm, despair, discouragement. You know, here we are almost a year into not having services live here at Unity Hall, almost a year into this worldwide pandemic, where perhaps you've been feeling alone, isolated. Perhaps that's the overwhelm that has occurred over this past year. Perhaps you're missing being with people, wanting life to go back to normal. Perhaps stuck in the mystery of it, like, when is this all going to come to an end? I don't know how much longer I can make it. You know, all of those things that overwhelm us and that, you know, have had the potential to overwhelm us over this past year. And then, of course, we've had layers on top of that, right? And so, you know, the layers, in addition to that worldwide pandemic, the layers of the racial justice work that happened over the summer and continues to occur. Perhaps you've seen that and you've felt overwhelmed. Like, really? Are we still here as a country? Are we still having to deal with these issues? Can't we just move on already? Maybe that was the stuff that overwhelmed you. And what am I supposed to do? I'm just one person. If we as a country have not moved beyond this and all of this time, then what can I do, right? There's that overwhelm, that potential that life has to keep us little and keep us small and keep us sunk in the stuff of life. And then, of course, we've added to that the layer of, the whole polarity, divisiveness, politicalization of everything that's happened in our country this year that we're still walking through, where we become, again, overwhelmed, wondering, can we ever find our way back to uniting as a country, to being together? All of these layers that have occurred over the past year that are just layers upon layers beyond the ordinary of what comes up in life, right? Like, these were extraordinary things that have happened this past year, but what about just our ordinary walking through life? Relationships that have been challenged perhaps through not being able to be together, through being too much together, to being on different sides of the political aisle, those kinds of relationship issues that occur even in years where we've not had these challenges. Perhaps you've had to walk through that. Perhaps a loved one that you know has been sick or has passed away. And you've had to walk through the grief of that, the overwhelm of that. Perhaps you've lost a job. Perhaps you're struggling. Perhaps life has gone along pretty easily, but you're still feeling all that life has piled up on top of everybody this year. It's easy to get lost and sunk in that overwhelm. It's easy to forget that I can try and make a difference. But this series of Beguiled by Beauty was here to remind us that in the midst of the suffering, in the midst of the challenges, in the midst of the ugly, in the midst of every day is this beauty. This beauty that we can find, this beauty that we can discover, this beauty that is indeed God within it all. And we're remembering through this series that it does not mean that everything is beautiful in and of itself. In other words, people dying of a worldwide pandemic is not necessarily what we would call beautiful. People losing their job, that experience is not what we would call beautiful. So it's not the idea that we need to consider that everything in our life is simply beautiful. Just come on, positive it up a little bit. It's recognizing that in the midst of everything that we are going through, we can find the beauty there because God is there, and that the experience itself is not beautiful, but that the experience itself allows us to reveal the beauty that is always there. Why? Because God is there. We are there. And we are here to see the beauty, to be the beauty, to allow that beauty to be revealed. Wendy tells us, we're basing this whole series on Wendy Farley's book, Beguiled by Beauty, and she tells us in this book how interrelated compassion and beauty are. Because you see, we could get so caught up in all that needs to be done, quickly overwhelmed by it, and end up sunk doing nothing. But Wendy reminds us that the purpose of beauty is to wake us up again and again and again to the wonder of the world, to the sacredness of life, to the sanctity of each person, the holiness of each person. We need to remember that, those resources that are available to us. Within Scripture, Jesus reminds us to be the salt of the earth. So I've got some salt here to kind of represent that. And what I want to remind us of is the resources that we all have within that awareness of our beauty to lift us all up to that place of what is possible here in this moment, rather than getting stuck and overwhelmed. So what resources do you have? What resources do I have? As Wendy reminded us here in this series, we have this resource of understanding that within the ugliness, there is an opportunity to discover or be this filigree of gold that runs through the experience. Remember the week that we talked about wabi-sabi, the Japanese idea? It's remembering that, okay, so here is something imperfect. Here is something ugly. Here is something challenging. But what I have the opportunity to be within that is this beauty of gold filigree that runs through that experience. So maybe it's me offering a word of inspiration to someone. Maybe it's me remembering that I can sit and rest in prayer and discover God here. Maybe there is something that I can bring to this moment that adds a piece of beauty, a piece of wisdom, a piece of light, a piece of life, and a reach out of my hand in some way, shape, or form, so that within that experience that we would call ugly, we get to weave within it some beauty. It's a resource that we have, that we remember, what is one thing that I can do here? To move beyond this overwhelm, to move beyond that to this place of what am I called to be and express? And it may be as simple as a smile. It may be an offer to pray with someone. It may be an offer to support someone by bringing them groceries during this time, right? So in some way we become that beauty that the world is looking for. So much of our ugliness, Wendy reminds us, comes when we generalize one another. We're so good at that. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. This idea that we have in our mind what we know, right? I know you because I've generalized you. I've put you into this category. And we're so good at that. The categories that show up in our world. The categories of us versus them. Some of them are hard to speak out, but I'm going to speak them out because I think they're so important. You know, we have, as a collective consciousness, decided, for example, that the black man is a violent man. It's a generalization that we've created. That the Mexican is a lazy immigrant. It's a generalization that we've created. That the black woman is nothing more than a welfare queen, having more kids to get more money. It's a generalization that we've created. We've created generalizations that the Republicans only care about children before they're born, not after. We've created generalizations that the liberals don't care about babies before they're born. Right? We create these generalizations, and in these generalizations, we lose sight of the sacred holiness of each one as a unique and individualized expression of the divine that we are. And so we have a resource. We can look out at those ones that we would generalize and say, here's simply a part of me that I don't know. But I'm willing to see that part of me. I'm willing to look at you with eyes of wonder. I'm willing to listen to you deeply. I'm willing to learn about who you are and what your experience is so that I can come to a deeper place of understanding. And in the process, we begin to fill up our lives with these resources that you can see. If you can see this container that I've got here, it begins to get pretty cloudy. Like I almost can't even see the egg anymore. And the egg's still down there on the bottom, by the way. And so sometimes as we're applying these resources, as we're saying, okay, Joanne, I'm practicing, and I don't see any changes. Life is still challenging. Life is still hard. Life is still complex. Life is still chaotic. Yes. And it's just providing more opportunity to use the resources that we have, the resource of prayer and meditation, the resource to sit in the silence and allow that peace be still to move us. That resource of recognizing that I here now am called to my own uniqueness, to share in my own unique way. What would that be? We keep pouring these resources into our lives. Beginning our day, perhaps, with that 8 a.m. prayer call that we've got. So that as I begin my day, I'm filling myself up with that resource of prayer so that when I face the cloudiness and the chaos of life, I am more centered and more clear within my own mind. The resource of reaching out, making a difference in someone else's life. You know, we can't just stay singularly focused. God doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. Jesus didn't work that way. He went on the mountain, but then he came off of that mountain and he went to work. That's what we're called to do. We can't stay on our mountain. We have to get into the depths of life that's cloudy and uncomfortable and challenging and difficult and keep pouring these resources in, mixing them into our lives until finally, you know, this good egg that we are rises to the surface. Oh, it's there. It was there. I lost it. It'll come back up. You know, because even as we drop back down again into the chaos, the practices, the resources, the willingness to see the beauty raises us up once more so that we can rise above that despair, so that we can rise above that challenge, so that we can rise above the murkiness and the cloudiness and the chaos of not knowing. So that even as life is challenging and murky, we are rising, and we rise with one another. Oh, if we were here in Unity Hall, I could show you this so well, but I'm trusting you can see it on the camera because this egg is now back up to the top. And so my question for you this morning, friends, is what are your resources? How are you using this resource of being willing to see the beauty of all life, to see each one as that beautiful, unique individual that they are? To see each experience as an opportunity to let that beauty that you are shine so brightly here now. To walk through life awake and aware to what is happening. It's not ignoring the cloudiness that's there. It's actually seeing it, but not allowing that to get us down. Because we have a resource. That resource is that divine power and presence within us. We do not need to give into that hopelessness and that helplessness and that despair in thinking I of myself can do nothing. You and I have been called here for a reason. We sing here, we are the ones that we've been waiting for. Well, what are we waiting for? That God would intend you to be, and we are called to see the beauty so that we can renew and refresh and not get overwhelmed and absorbed in only problem thinking. To rise above that problem thinking to that level of consciousness that reminds us, God is here. Beauty is here. Good is here. And I am here. And how can I be that and express that in this world today? Throughout this series, we've been talking about the resources of contemplative practices. Those contemplative practices that are designed to help us to lift out of the quagmire of our own thinking and our own thoughts and the troubles of life to remember the truth. And what I love about this contemplative way of life is it's not about, well, come to church on Sunday, get filled up, and then go out there and forget about Sunday, right? It is about interweaving Spirit, God, that divine Christ that is within you into every aspect, every day, in every moment of your life. That contemplative practice that can be as simple as in any moment just taking a breath and allowing that breath to recharge us into that place of peacefulness so that we can take that peacefulness now and share it in this moment in our own unique way. The contemplative practice that allows us to become aware of what are those thoughts that keep my life cloudy. You know, last week I shared a story with you about how I had picked up an idea and carried that idea with me for 4.5 years before finally saying enough is enough. And after service, you know, Greg was here last week, Greg Scudderin, and typically when we would be together in Unity Hall, Greg would be at 9 o'clock service and he'd be asking me questions in between, getting clarity, but we haven't had a chance to do that too much. So last week Greg was here and he came up to me and he said, let me ask you a question about that. He said, when you were holding that idea, was that a conscious idea that you were holding? And I have to say that yes, it was. I was conscious many mornings that I was choosing to carry this idea. And Greg said, you know, it's much easier to let go of a conscious idea. It's much harder to let go of an idea that is from the subconscious that we're not even aware of. And I said, yes, that's true. But of contemplative practice. Because here in Unity, what we absolutely know is that you are not limited by any idea that you are holding in mind. And so if you're holding an unconscious, subconscious idea that is keeping you within the cloudiness of life, you have the opportunity to heal that idea, to reveal that idea. You have that mind of Christ in you that is here to support you in that. And so contemplative practice simply makes this space, makes a spaciousness within your life and within your mind for those ideas in need of healing to bubble up, arise, and heal. Ideas of separation, ideas of lack, ideas of limitation. You and I are invited to become aware of them and then make the conscious choice. Here's what I see within that one, but I'm also remembering this. They're beautiful, holy. They're a part of me I just don't know yet. How can I listen to them? How can I learn about them? How can I explore this with them? We're not through whatever this past year has brought about. We're still walking through these days, but we're not alone. And we are well equipped. And we can find the beauty in this moment, in any moment, and bring that beauty into expression. This has been such a fabulous series for me to open my eyes to beauty. Life can get so serious we can forget to stop and breathe and be. So I've enjoyed this one. I hope you have too. I want to end with a quote here. This is from Rosemary Freeney Harding, who is one of our great civil rights mothers. This is what it says here in this book. She knew well what it was to live through outrages and the defeats of hope. Yet she describes the power of the Spirit to draw circles of protection and power around us even as we look elsewhere. Teaching how to be a family, how to live like family, how to live with some strength and care in your hands, how to live with some joy in your mouth, how to put your hands gentle on where the wound is and draw out the grief, how to urge some kind of mercy into the shock-stained earth so that good will grow. This is what the contemplative life enables us to do. to participate in this work of Spirit more deeply, more compassionately, and more joyfully. Those things must be woven together. To be and recognize our oneness with God and with life and with one another is to be and to recognize the beauty that is here, and it is to be and to recognize the part that we are to do to reveal that beauty. And for each of us, that is something different. There's no judgment about how big of a thing that might be. As I said, it might be as simple as a smile. So I'm going to invite us into our spiritual practice for this week. Our spiritual practice, again, contemplation. Contemplate the theology of beauty and divine goodness. This is what we've been talking about for 6 weeks now. So during this next week, consider again this practice of compassion, of being open-hearted, eyes with wonder. How are you being called to practice compassion? Mindfully paying attention to what is happening in any given moment. Be with it. Don't turn your back from it. Be with it. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Our contemplative practice asks us to be with it. How can I keep my heart open here? How can I keep my eyes open to wonder here? And is there any suffering that you can meet in compassion in that moment? How can you be an instrument of God here and reveal the beauty of the divine within this moment? This is what I want us all to know. If wherever we are, God is, then wherever we are, beauty is. Wherever we are, goodness is. Wherever we are, light is. Wherever we are, love is. And as we practice together, we can rise to the surface and be that light and love of God. And I am so grateful to be on this beautiful journey with you. All right, I want to skip ahead to a couple of weeks because in 2 weeks, we are going to begin a Lenten series. It's hard to believe that Lent is starting on February 21st. So this week, on Thursday, we are going to be putting together Lenten bags, and that's the announcement I want to make for you. These Lenten bags are going to be located outside of Unity Hall. In addition to the Lenten booklet that we have from Unity, what we're going to be inviting us all into is to create Zen garden. So you are going to receive in that bag everything that you need to make a little Zen garden. So there's some sand in here. We're going to be talking about beach glass. So you're going to receive some pieces of beach glass, a little Zen rake that you'll be able to rake designs in. And we're going to be talking about these throughout the season of Lent. But we want you to have all of the supplies that you need to meet us with this particular series. So starting Thursday, outside of Unity Hall in the afternoon, evening, because we're putting them together Thursday, these packets will be available. We'll have them there waiting for you to pick up. And if you can't make it by to pick it up, we have people willing to deliver them to you. So call the office, send us an email, let us know you need some support in receiving your Lenten package. And it'll come complete with everything that you're going to need: container, sand, glass, booklet, and we're looking forward to this. But we're going to count on you to make this. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, we have our food share outside. If you or somebody that you know is in need of food, have them come by. That'll be here today until about 2, and then tomorrow and Thursday. Hours are on our website. God bless everybody.
Sometimes the call to be compassionate or kind comes from half a world away. Sometimes it comes from a major event, a traumatic event like September 11th was. Sometimes it comes from an act of war or terrorism. Sometimes it comes from a family member or a friend or a stranger down the street. There are all kinds of moments that we're called to be kind and compassionate, where the differences that we have felt, the divisions, the separations we have felt, are suddenly asking to melt away or be ignored for a little while or for forever. One of the most striking things about the Facebook shows I've been doing. Some of you know I started this past March, 11 months ago now, singing Facebook shows, and well over 100 concerts later, they're still going. I didn't know that on Facebook, I didn't know until I started, that on Facebook people could chat with me and with other people while I'm singing. So the concerts have become these communal conversations where people are sharing sometimes lovely news and sometimes really heartbreaking news. And then there have been the emails and the letters and the cards that I've gotten from people telling me how they're really doing. And it's been touching and it's been striking. And what I have found is that many, many people are lonely and are struggling with fear of chaos in the government, of difficulty paying bills, of fear of the virus, fear of the vaccine, grief and sadness from losing loved ones or simply from being kept apart from loved ones for such an extended and open-ended period of time. And that in itself is a call for compassion and kindness. And it has been so beautiful and rewarding to feel like the concerts I've been doing have made at least a small bit of difference, if in no other way than in the keeping company of someone who is homebound and alone. Simple. I turn on the computer, I open up Facebook, and I keep someone company. That's a pretty special thing. I didn't know I was going to be doing that. I had completely ignored social media until this past March, when I was really forced onto it, like so many of us. And 11 months later, it's proven to be stunningly rewarding and lovely in very unexpected ways. So as we sing songs about compassion and listen to a message about compassion and kindness, this song came to mind. It's more of a one-on-one exercise in compassion, but as a songwriting coach I knew once said, most songs that we write, we songwriters write, are either something we really, really want to say, or there's something we really, really need to hear. And I would say that this song, different times in my life, has been both. So I hope you enjoyed this song from my album, Different Me. I can see in your eyes, you're so weary. I can hear in your voice, you're afraid. I can tell by a touch, you've forgotten so much of the truth. I'll remember for you. When the plans that you've made lay abandoned, when your dreams you have seen disappear, no reason to try, you're even wondering why, push on through. I'll remember for you. Don't you worry, even when you cry, 'cause every moment is in perfect time. Don't you worry, don't despair, you will find the answer to every prayer. So sail on your deepest ocean, go searching your skies above. I'll be calling you here when it all disappears from view. I'll remember for you. I'll remember for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Joanne, for that wonderful message today. We are investing in our community, and as we invest in Unity Spiritual Center through generous giving, our individual investment, combines with the generosity of others. Together, we are uplifting the lives of each one of us. Whether you see us every week or see us only virtually, we know that you and countless others who join us online are investing in our community, and you pave the way for God, our source, to richly provide spiritual sustenance and support. We are so grateful for your mindful giving. Whether you are donating or sending a check to our center, please hold your gift in your heart. Please bless your offering as we affirm, I am a channel for the flow of abundance.
Here's a little song I normally do as a sing-along. Here's a little song I normally do as a sing-along, so I might just invite you to join me. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Sing love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start, can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, my decision, my decision, right here and now, right here and now. All right, here it goes, second verse. Love is my decision, it's up to me decide, and once I decide to change my mind, to change my mind, God will show me how. God will show me how. Love is my decision, my decision, my decision, right here and now, right here and now. One more time, here we go. Love is my decision. It's up to me. It's up to me to dance down that road, to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load, can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. My decision, right here and now. Thank you. And thanks for singing.
We recognize God as our source and dedicate these gifts to living God's greater vision boldly and with courage. We see this center and each giver phenomenally blessed as a channel through which God's good flows. Thank you and amen. Thank you for joining us this morning, and a special welcome to any new guests here on the live stream. We are so happy that Spirit guided you to be here with us this morning. This is the first Sunday of the month, so you know what that means. It's Birthday Sunday.
Well, we are wishing all you February babies a happy, happy birthday this month. Everybody get on your feet and sing out loud. They're going to hear you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you now. God is blessing your birthday. God is blessing you now. Have a wonderful birthday.
Members, be sure to meet on Zoom for our annual meeting, which begins immediately after service. Non-members, you can watch us live on YouTube. Our message next Sunday, Valentine's Day, is the fruits of love. And now back to Bonnie and Jerry for our closing songs. See you next week.
So as we close our service today, I'm going to invite you to stand on up wherever you find yourself right now, whether you're alone or with other people. Claim this with me. Go out and be the light and be the compassion and be the love, be the peace that you want to see in the world, and claim that for yourself. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. I can see if you're standing or not. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, must be my joyous part to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Gotta turn that up a little bit. I am the light of God, I am the love of God, I am the power of God, I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is, and you're the light too. You are the light of God, you are the love of God, you are the power of God, you are the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is. We're all the light. We are the light of God. We are the love of God. We are the power of God. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. So go out and make the world a little bit better this week and have a good week.